Zombies, the objectively best, most resilient, and most handsome tribe in all of Commander. Let's start with some zombie facts. Did you know there are currently 562 zombies in Magic the Gathering? The most expensive is the Arabian Nights version of Cabal Ghoul. It's about $250 and is part of the reserve list. I don't know if I'd pay that much for it. Nice looking card for sure, but not super playable. The #1 commander with over 1700 decks on EDH Rec is Wilhelt the Rod Cleaver. 2 blue and a black for a legendary creature, Zombie Warrior. It's a 3/3. Whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a zombie. If you do, draw a card. This guy generates incredible value, doubles your sacrifice fodder for all kinds of shenanigans out there, dude. Wilhelt is a very powerful commander. It's got a unique zombie flavor. And the #1 most played zombie according to EDH Rec rank is Grey Merchant of Asphodel. We all know Gary, man. Gary is the man, dude. This is a win condition in zombie decks and in just about any deck that it goes in. Love this guy. #2 commander, and $10 right now after a reprint in Commander Masters, the Scarab God. 3 blue and a black for a legendary creature god. It's 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. 2 blue and a black, exile target creature card from a graveyard, any graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. When this guy dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. This guy, while not a zombie himself, is immensely powerful precisely because he can target a creature card from any graveyard. It's just a repeatable reanimation effect that gets all those juicy utility creatures and makes sweet 4/4 zombies. I love this guy. Now listen, man, if the Scarab God wants to attract those zombie ladies, he's got to start working on those arms, man. He's got those skinny arms out there, brother. The #3 zombie commander and my personal girlfriend is Varina the Lich Queen. 1 white, blue, and a black for a legendary creature zombie wizard. It's a 4/4. Whenever you attack with 1 or more zombies, draw that many cards, then discard that many cards, you gain that much life. Has 2 exile 2 cards from your graveyard, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. Varina is a looter that feeds the graveyard at an alarming pace sometimes, and gains life. I don't know what plane she's from, dude, but I want to live in that plane and hang out with my sweet Varina forever, brother. So zombies are one of the most powerful and the most popular tribes. Top 3 for sure, man, right up there with elves and dragons. So what makes them so powerful? Well, zombies have some of the best lords in the game, and there are a ton of them. For those of you new to Magic who are just unfamiliar with the term lord, a lord is a creature that gives other creatures of the same type some benefit. Usually it's a boost to power and toughness, or some keyword, or some combination of the above. I'm flashing up some of the lords that I won't be talking about specifically in this section so you can check them out. Let's take a look at Mikaeus the Unhallowed for a moment here. 3 black, black, black for a legendary creature, zombie cleric. It's a 5/5 with Intimidate. Whenever a human deals damage to you, destroy it. Don't discount that. Other non-human creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Undying. If you search for zombie lords, this guy might not come up because he says non-human creatures you control versus zombies you control. But this is the best zombie lord out there, and a competent combo commander on his own. Undying is probably one of the best abilities you can give your zombie horde. Mikaeus for the longest time was around $30, but had a massive proliferation of reprints. It's down to about $6 right now. Look at this guy, looks like my mother-in-law, dude. The Undead War Chief, 2 black, black for a creature zombie. It's a 1/1. Zombie spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Zombie creatures you control get +2/+1. So this guy is actually a 3/2. It has the strength of 7 men. In fact, it used to be 7 men. It's the best flavor text, dude. Another reason to love zombies is the bonkers art you get. But this fella's back up to $10. Keep your eye out for reprints next time they lean into a zombie deck in one of the precons or something. This cost reduction effect is really good for a zombie tribal deck, brother. Now look at this guy with his tiny face. You got Radadrabic of the Urborg. 2 white and a black for a legendary creature, zombie wizard. It's a 3/3 with vigilance and ward 2. Other zombies you control have vigilance. There you go. Whenever another legendary creature you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary. It's a 2/2 black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. You end up having some incidental legendaries in addition to your commander, whoever that ends up being. This guy's a great commander with a unique mechanic himself, but he gives other zombies you control vigilance, so I'm counting him as a lord. Look at this beautiful boy, looks like the singer from Blues Traveler. Hordewing Scab is a 4 and a blue creature zombie horror. It's a 3/3 with flying. Other zombies you control have flying. I love that. Whenever one or more zombies you control deals combat damage to one or more of your opponents, you may draw cards equal to the number of opponents dealt damage this way. If you do, discard that many cards. Very confusing ability. This draw discard effect is secondary to the flying part. Look at this art, man. This guy had the opportunity to put anything on the end of those chains, spike ball, anything, and slap some paws on there. It's crazy. Zombie Master. I just wanted you to check this guy out, man. It's a 2/3. Other zombie creatures have Swamp Walk. Other zombies have Black Regenerate this permanent, so that's all zombies across the board. I wish they kept the Lord creature type from the old days, man. It was just a summon Lord. This guy was originally just a Lord himself. Regeneration can be a really good ability to give all your dudes. And if you look real closely on this card, the art is by Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. There are a bunch of zombies that pump up, but I want to highlight this guy, the Diregraph Captain. 1 blue and a black for a creature zombie soldier. It's a 2/2 with Death Touch. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever another zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. That's the crux of the biscuit right there. Incredible art, nice pump effect, but that last ability is crazy. This is something that zombies are pretty good at. We have some other effects like this, Plague Belcher and Vengeful Dead. These can be win conditions if you reanimate a group of zombies, which is a central strategy we can talk about a little later, or you're looping a zombie in and out of the battlefield. Similar effect here with Wayward Servant. You get them coming, you get them going, man. This is an ETB effect, so let's transition into some unique zombies that pay off our zombies entering the battlefield or zombies getting cast. Let's take a look at the Noxious Ghoul here. 3 black for a creature zombie, it's a 3/3. Whenever this guy or another zombie enters the battlefield, all non-zombie creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Classic sweeper. My favorite thing in the universe is reanimating this guy with 10 other zombies after sacrificing everything before a big living death. They all enter and everyone else's non-zombies die. You also got to appreciate the art on this thing. I mean, this is beautiful, man. We try to call back to these retro styles all the time. Why not just use the retro cards? Anyways, Diregraph Colossus, 2 and a black for a creature zombie giant. It's a 2/2. This guy enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each zombie in your graveyard. Whenever you cast a zombie spell, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token tapped. Hard to get a sense of the scale of this thing from the art, man, because it's so tiny, but he just poops out zombies. I'm going to put the art at the end of the video because I think it's neat. Now, who can forget Sidisi the Undead Vizier? 3 black for a legendary creature zombie naga. It's a 4/6 with Death Touch. Also has Exploit. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. When this guy exploits a creature, you may search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Fantastic tutor for your zombie deck. There's some 2 card combos in here, or you can get your value pieces. It's got an amazing ETB that benefits from all the recursion and undying you're packing in these zombie decks. This art is also awesome. You have the Cleaver Scab out there, 3 and a blue for a creature zombie horror, 3 and tap, sacrifice another zombie, create 2 tokens that are copies of the sacrificed creature. Furious and unable to separate, the bitter rivals consoled themselves by splitting everything else they saw in half, dude. Why don't they console themselves making a PB&J sandwich? That's what I would do. I don't know. Getting 2 gray merchants for 3 mana seems pretty good to me. This is an interesting card. It's a little clunky, but that zombie you killed can be recurred, and you can do this at instant speed. How's this for a neat zombie? The Graveborn Muse, 2 black for a creature zombie spirit. I believe it's the only one in the game. It's a 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of zombies you control. This one's a classic. This hot, skinny lady zombie spirit has all the moves, man. It's almost better if your deck isn't completely zombies, because this can mean you lose a ton of life. It's not usually enough to kill you, though. I run this card in my zombie decks anyway, and I run it in some other decks, where I have incidental zombies or zombie commanders. Alright, you may not appreciate this card as much as I do, but we got the Coffin Queen out there. 2 and a black for a creature zombie wizard. It's a 1/1. You may choose not to untap it during your untap step. Has 2 and a black and tap. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. When Coffin Queen becomes untapped or you lose control of it, exile that creature. I love this card because it's got this classic Kaya Foglio art. It's one of my all-time favorite cards, although perhaps it isn't the best card in the world. Zombies can do some wacky things with reanimation effects, so let's transition into that. Guess what, brother? It's classic zombie combo time, and it centers around Gravecrawler. This guy's had a bunch of reprints too, reducing the retail value to around $3. If you have a sacrifice outlet, and you should in this deck, you can cast this forever with Rooftop Storm. If you're running a zombie commander deck, may as well slot this card right in with the old Rooftop, buddy. It's 6 mana, but it's a win on the spot card. Get your Gravecrawler into the graveyard with the old Violent Tumor or one of your tutors. This guy is also a zombie. When he enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle. Now take a look at this guy, the Habengul Lich, 3 blue and a black for a creature zombie wizard. It's a 4/4, has 1. You may cast target creature card in a graveyard this turn. When you cast it this turn, Habengul Lich gains all activated abilities of that card until end of turn. This is another sweet reanimation engine, alright? If you get Rooftop Storm out there, you're paying 1 generic mana per zombie, and combine that with a Phyrexian Altar or some other sweet sacrifice outlet, and you're golden, man. I love this card, and I think it's a little slept on. Now, zombies can benefit from some amazing reanimation effects in addition to Patriarch's Bidding and Haunting Voyage. Another slept on card in my opinion. That card's fantastic, dude, the old Haunting Voyage. You have Zombie Apocalypse out there. So this is 3 black, black, black for a sorcery. Return all zombie creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, then destroy all humans. So the idea is to put a bunch of zombies in the graveyard and dig them all back out. Win on the spot with your drain effects, sacrifice them all again if you need to, and bring them all back with Undying or something like that. And just one more card I want to highlight, we have Necro Duality. 3 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token zombie enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. This card is pretty amazing, dude, but just for zombie creature decks, that's it. Alright, how about some underrated zombie commanders? Not all necessarily zombie tribal, but neat just the same. You got Jarrod out there, he's a Golgari Lich Lord. Black, black, green, green, legendary creature, zombie elf, it's a 2/2. This guy gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard, has 1 black and a green, sacrifice another creature, each opponent loses life equal to the sacrificed creature's power. This guy is a classic, man. Great reanimation commander, can really kill the entire table for just 3 mana. Oh man, you better not sleep on Cedrus out there. 3 blue, black, and a red for a legendary creature, zombie warrior, it's a 5/5. Each creature card in your graveyard has unearthed 2 and a black. Listen man, this guy is fantastic. He bids his minions rise from their graves to their knees, that's what she said. I love this guy. I know he's powered out of the format right now, but look at those horns, brother. Very cool, classic commander. And what about Kraum? Ludovic's Opus, 3 blue and a red for a legendary creature, zombie horror, it's a 4/4 with flying and haste. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. This guy's got partner too. This guy's got 2 heads, that's pretty neat, man. I only got 1 head. Classic partner commander and a zombie to boot. I don't have too much to say about this guy. It's pretty much just used for the colors in most decks, but it's a decent zombie. His Kraum, he lives under the mountain. Anyways, man, we got Belbe, Corrupted Observer, black and a green for a legendary creature, Phyrexian Zombie Elf, 2/2. At the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase, that player adds colorless for each of your opponents who lost life this turn, so each of my opponents. This is a very confusing ability. So you can get a maximum of 6 in a 4-player pod. Your opponents can get a maximum of 4. So it does have that drawback, but you have to build your deck to take advantage of it. Go read up on the lore on Belbe. She's a favorite of mine. I do have a Belbe deck that I run a bunch of incidental zombies like Underrealm Lich. That's another really good zombie, dude. I didn't mention that guy, but I'm going to mention him right now, brother. Anyways, Belbe is a really mean deck. It's meaner even than I meant to make it. Oh yeah, man, there he is, the Diregraph Colossus. Anyways, that's the video. I just wanted to wax on and on about one of my favorite creature types and the bonker stuff you can do. I have that Varina deck on my Mox Field in a budget version that's about $65. That's pretty nasty as well. When she got reprinted, I just revisited that. Check out the Belbe deck if you want everyone to hate you forever. There are so many good zombies out there, I can't go through them all. There's 562 all get atrophy of our limbs, dude. We'll just be sitting there like pillows. But think about making your own zombie deck. The play patterns are actually a lot of fun and are really powerful. You don't have to rely on combat, but you can if you want. This is Nikki G from Better Commander, signing off.